A Az.com production.
The programmable thermostat in my home is about 12 to 13 years old, and until recently worked very well. Now though, it seems to be reprogramming itself. Every couple of days, for no reason, it adjusts itself down to 62 degrees. Definitely time for a new one. Shelley and I decided to upgrade to the Honeywell 9000 Wi-Fi touchscreen programmable thermostat. It's multi-programmable, has Wi-Fi, all the bells and whistles. Only one problem. The instruction says I need to hook up 5 wires to get the new thermostat to work. When I pull off the cover of the old one, I only have 4. The manual says I need 5 wires coming from my HVAC to my thermostat. These are labeled C, G, Y, W, and R. What I have is a G, Y, W, and R. What I'm missing is the C wire. The C wire is a 24-volt common wire. My new thermostat needs this to run the display. The old thermostat used 2 AA batteries for the display, so the installer never connected the C wire. I know I have a common C terminal on my HVAC, because things like my compressor and blower fan need a common to function. So it's just a matter of running a wire from the C terminal in my HVAC to the thermostat. We have several ways that we can do this. Let's start with the easiest. But first, let's go turn off the power to my HVAC unit. The thermostat works off of 24 volts, so there's little chance of electrocution. However, if the power is on, there's a very real chance that you'll short out one of the HVAC components, like the compressor, and that could run you hundreds of dollars to replace. Even when working with low voltage, it's a good idea to switch off the power. With the power off, we could disconnect the wires from the thermostat. Notice on my thermostat, the green wire is connected to the G terminal. G being the first letter of the color of the wire. The yellow wire is connected to the Y terminal, and so forth. This is how a professional HVAC installer would likely install the wiring on the system. But I have seen HVAC systems that are wired with all the same color wire. The color of the wire isn't important. What's important is that the G terminal on the thermostat is wired to the G terminal on your HVAC unit. We have 5 terminals on the thermostat that we need to use: C, G, Y, W, and R. We need to wire them to the corresponding C, G, Y, W, and R terminals on the HVAC unit. Each terminal has a different function. The C terminal is your common. Your G terminal is your blower fan. Your Y terminal is your compressor. Your W terminal is your heat. And your R terminal is your electrical hot. Notice on the plate, there are more terminals than just the C, G, Y, W, and R we're using. There is a O terminal. This controls a heat pump, which I don't have. I mention this because many installers simply shove the extra wires into the wall. And yep, here they are. Blue is traditionally my common wire, which was what I'm looking for, but I'm not sure if the blue is attached to the C terminal at the attic. We're going to have to go up there and take a look. Once in the attic, I remove the panel from the unit. There are 5 terminals on the unit, and they are labeled C, G, Y, W, and R, the same as my thermostat. I see the brown wire, not the blue, is connected to the C terminal. I have 5 wires for my smart thermostat, and the common is already attached. I just replace the panel and then finish hooking up my thermostat. If the brown wire was here but not connected, I would have to attach it to the C terminal. If there was not a fifth wire, I would have had to attach the wire here to the HVAC and then run it down to the thermostat. So now that we know the brown wire is our common wire, I just have to connect it to the new thermostat. And we're up and running. If I would have had to run a common wire from the thermostat to the HVAC, it wouldn't have been much of a problem. My thermostat is only about 2 feet below my attic, so I could have pulled the wire through with a coat hanger. But what if your HVAC and thermostat are not that close together? What if it's 40 feet down the hall and 2 stories up? You could buy or rent 100 feet of fish tape and try to pull the wire through, or you could open up holes in the wall and then patch them over. This is all very time consuming. But there is a way to make a 5-wire thermostat work with only 4 wires. Let me show you how. Just as before, you connect the Y, W, and R from your thermostat to your HVAC. But instead of connecting the G to the G, use that 4th wire and connect the C to the C. This means your fan will not be operating. So what you do is you go up to the HVAC unit and run a wire from the Y to the G. If you remember, your Y is your compressor. So every time your compressor turns on, your blower fan will also. This is the same as having your thermostat set to auto, which is a more common setting anyway. The only drawback is you will not be able to set your fan to manual. For most people, this is not an issue. With the 5-wire issue resolved, we can install the Honeywell thermostat. The product is typical of smart thermostats, so the installation should be straightforward. I check the wires and make sure that they're all approximately the same length. I took my common wire and stripped it back about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. I now connect my new wall plate. Be very careful as I put the wires through. You may have to drill new holes depending on the size of your plate. We attach it to the wall. Before you tighten it up, make sure that it's level. We now push the wires back in and connect them up. Brown in the common. Red in the R, white in the W, green in the G. Now all we do is attach the faceplate. Turn on the power, and we should be back in business. Now all we have to do is program our new thermostat. I called around, and installation of a thermostat would cost between $80 and $120. It took me 20 minutes using only a screwdriver, wire cutters, and a flashlight. So my only cost is the thermostat and a little bit of my own time. Upgrading to a smart thermostat is a simple project, and you can do it yourself.
And we're rolling.
That was hilarious.
Blooper reel.